Holy smokes, everyone. The Federal Reserve has just done the unthinkable. We just got all the news, the facts and data, what the Federal Reserve is going to do, and people, could have you have guessed it, they've made a terrible, terrible mistake. But even though they've made the mistake today, the markets are still very spooked, very, very worried. All the indices were in the red today. The bond market sold off. The bond market yields, a 10-year US Treasury yield, hit its highest since 2006. And we all know what happened after 2006, 2007. So interest rates are getting to very, very dangerously high levels. So what did the Federal Reserve do today? And exactly, more importantly, what did they say? Because don't always follow what they say, watch what they do. But we did get some very good insights of what's going to happen for future meetings as well as their projections on the economy and inflation. So what they did, so obviously they paused interest rates, but what a lot of the markets have been thinking is this was the last rate hike, or the one they did previously, taking the federal funds rate to 5.25% to 5.5%. But no, they're saying they're still going to do another interest rate hike. Now, I find what's absolutely laughable, if they're going to do another hike, why are they pausing every single meeting, okay? Again, what they're really hoping for is they're crossing their fingers, they're praying that we'll just hold and we'll pause, we'll wait till the next meeting and then inflation will drop magically. But no, people, that's not going to happen. We've seen them make a huge mistake by declaring victory on inflation. Well, now inflation's surging again. Oil prices are surging, gas, petrol prices are surging, but not just those. Other costs like medical care, food costs are surging as well. Okay, so they're saying they're going to hike one more time by the end of the year. Now, really, they should do it at their next meeting, okay? We'll have to wait until they figure out what they're going to do. But also with their dot plot, that predicts where interest rates will be next year, which is very, very important because the markets have been hoping that the Federal Reserve will start cutting interest rates at the end of this year. Remember, a lot of people thought at the end of this year, the Federal Reserve will be cutting interest rates. Well, no, the Federal Reserve is actually not going to cut interest rates anytime soon in 2024. They said they may be going to cut 2 interest rates at the end of 2024, but there's going to be much fewer cuts than a lot of the markets were hoping for. So that's quite bearish as well, because even interest rates just staying at this level, even if they don't hike them anymore, we're still going to see a lot of economic pain and a lot of economic damage in the economy, because interest rates are still at highs we haven't seen since 2006 and 2007, okay? They also talked about, Jerome Powell talked about that they admit, okay, we haven't won the fight on inflation, and their statement was we still have more work to do. Because again, you have to read between the lines with what these Federal Reserve officials say. They're never going to come out and exactly say what they're going to do, but they will give you clues, okay? Because they don't want to be seen as manipulating the markets, even though we all know they do. They've all been caught insider trading, okay? They absolutely do manipulate the markets. But even then they admit, okay, we haven't won the fight in inflation. We're still going to do at least one more hike at the end of this year. They're saying the economy is resilient. The economy is booming better than they expected. The consumer's more resilient. Unemployment rate is still low. Well, we all know the figures they put out these days are a complete joke, and they just get revised 1 or 2 months later. So, okay, what you're probably wanting to know is, well, what does this mean for you and me, and how can we prepare for what's coming? Well, what I've been saying is, if they don't keep lifting interest rates to stop inflation, we will see a market melt up, okay? And I was feeling that's the more likely scenario. Now, I hope they do what they're going to say and do another 1 or 2 interest rate hikes to stop this inflation. But looking at history and looking at what their incentive is, looking at how bad the economy is, how bad the financial system is, we have to realize this whole financial system, they need inflation. Because you're probably wondering, there's no way the US government can repay back $33 trillion in debt. Now that's true if they don't inflate away the currency. If, for example, all of a sudden we get hyperinflation and everybody's earning $1 million a year and that's the medium income, well, then maybe they will be able to pay it back because everyone will be pushed into the highest tax bracket. And that's how they really get you with this, let's tax the rich. Well, then what happens when everyone's, there's hyperinflation, everyone's making $1 million a year, Okay, that's how, it really gets you. So they need inflation to inflate away the debt. That's the only way they can not even repay it, just manage the interest costs. Okay. Also, like I said, this economy relies on debt. Consumers have no savings. We've seen the charts of the average US consumer savings are plummeting. So it relies on people taking on credit cards. Credit card interest payments now at stupid levels. I think the average is now 25%. So pay off your credit cards, everyone. Don't be like the average American that's piling into credit card debt and paying a $1,000 a month auto loan, okay? So make sure you pay those off. But that's their thoughts on the economy, and that's why they need to keep inflation going. But if they do what they're going to say, well, we're still going to see a lot more pain in the markets. Now, I hope they do the right thing, raise interest rates at the end of this year. And if they do, well, like what we saw today, all assets will sell off. If they do this, what you're going to want to do is have cash, because when they lift interest rates, the dollar goes up, okay? And all assets sell off, even gold and silver, even though they're an inflation hedge and they're a safe haven. In the short term, gold and silver gets caught up in the sell-off, okay? Like what we saw today, stocks sold off today, gold, silver, bonds sold off, crypto sold off. So in the case that they keep hiking, you want cash. In the case that they they talk like, yeah, we're going to lift interest rates. Hold me back. I'm going to hike those interest rates. Let me at the market. I'm going to get him. Well, we all know they're a lot more bark and not a lot of buy, okay? Then if they don't lift interest rates and inflation keeps going higher, well, then you're going to want to have gold, silver, which will protect against currency decline, which they're doing right now. It will protect against inflation. It'll be a safe haven. But you need an asset that can outpace inflation, because yes, while gold is a safe haven, silver is a safe haven, and we can see some massive moves potentially, it's an asset that doesn't appreciate that much. And that's why I have Bitcoin in my portfolio, okay? That can benefit from these huge moves, because when there's a risk on environment, Bitcoin will outpace the stock market. And that's why I have those two assets in there, as well as some miners as well, because when the gold and silver bull run happens again, a lot of these miners will absolutely boom. And if you're wanting to learn more about this, you can click the top link in the description below for my course where I teach everything about this. But again, everyone, that was a quick update on what the Federal Reserve is doing, what they did with the can't talk this morning. Well, they did not decide to lift interest rates again. They're going to pause one more hike maybe at the end of this year. They're saying that the economy and job market's a lot more resilient, which we all know is not true, okay? Probably one more rate hike at the end of this year and maybe 2 cuts late 2024, but everything changes so quick. So thanks for watching, everyone. You're awesome. I'll see you all in the next video.